Boxing King Media in association with Boxro. Sonny Edwards, I feel like I need to pan the camera down because I don't think the fans online have seen you dressed like this ever.
It's been a long day.
Normally we got you dressed up as, I don't know, what would I describe your dress sense as normally?
I get dressed with the lights off, so whatever's clean.
And what's inspired you to dress up like this today?
No, I don't know. I do think the aesthetic looks good at a fight press conference when a fighter makes the effort. I'm in a stage now where I got someone to do it all for me, if that makes sense. He was coming to the gym through camp, measuring me, bringing stuff that I liked, didn't like, taking it back. So I didn't really have to do too much, probably as to why it's taken this long to do it. Because I can afford to pay someone to do all of these things for me now. I'll be perfectly real. But I've always liked it. When I was in sixth form, I had to wear a suit every single day for 2 years. Like, I always liked the idea of walking every day in a suit, to be honest. And when I get my office next year, you might see me in a suit all the time.
Interesting. Nice choice of colour, green. Let's get straight into it. First thing I want to speak to you about, Sonny, is Marcel Braithwaite. Obviously, your guy's Thomas Asomba, who you manage, is fighting Marcel Braithwaite. Marcel has not turned up for the press conference. Any reason why? Do we know what's happening?
Yeah, they contacted, the guys here waiting for him to turn up, and he went, I don't want to come. I'm going to stay at the hotel because it will affect my performance on Friday. I think they're already beaten in the head. I'll be surprised, genuinely, if he actually turns up on Friday, probably to the weigh-in tomorrow. They came yesterday late. They didn't want to do any of the media stuff. They were half made to go and do the TV stuff, the main card TV stuff. Didn't want to. Had his headphones in. Wasn't responding to none of the public or the fans. I don't know what this massive chip on his shoulder he's got. In the sense of, I've seen a fight where he's been, when I fought him. They didn't turn up to the media day. The public workout, they literally did 2 minutes of shadow boxing and got out. They have no interest in generating any sort of publicity, any sort of brand for himself, which is surprising to me because the sport we're in, being good, winning, losing, drawing, all of that doesn't actually matter. It's how much interest you get, how much eyes come on you, how many people click your links or buy tickets off you. The kid sold under 30 tickets for this fight. He's from Liverpool, which is about max 2 hours away from Sheffield. Thomas Asomba's from the Cameroon. He's not a native of these lands. And until he's been to Sheffield, he probably had very few friends. Well, I know that because he's told me. And he sold over double the tickets that Marcel has from this country. And I don't know if it's this whole I'm not promoting the show. I'm not helping make. The only person that's going to suffer is him. Because let's say the best thing happens for him right now. He goes and he wins on Friday. He's not drummed up. No pre-build-up. He hasn't been posting on any social medias, hasn't been doing no interviews, walked around with his headphones on yesterday. It's bizarre to me, and to be honest, he's got his two biggest paydays of his career off me, one against Thomas Asomba and one against fighting me. And he won't probably ever get any more that I'm not involved in sort of making the fight happen because no one knows him, no one cares about him, and he doesn't even give you the opportunity to, he has a great fight here. People are genuinely excited. Do you know how many people that I've sold tickets to or other people have sold tickets to, and they're looking forward to the Asomba-Marcel fight? They've seen me in the ring with both of them, so it's like a perfect platform for him to go and do something. And he's not turned up, he's not said nothing. His trainer's not turned up for the press conference here, but didn't mind turning up to Abu Dhabi for the last week's fight week. All week there for the Bivol Ramirez card, being Zelfa Barrett's spit bucket boy.
To be fair to him, I'd go to Abu Dhabi over Sheffield.
Yeah, definitely, but your fighter's here. He's got nothing to do with Zelfa apart from being Pat's mate. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't train him, doesn't advise him. He wouldn't listen to a word he said in the corner. Marcel is his only fighter that I know of. I don't know of any other fighter he looks after, and it's embarrassing, the lack of professionalism. I'll be real. If it weren't for the necessity of needing the fight, we don't need it. If he pulls out now at the 10th hour, we've been guaranteed that he'll go straight into the British because this will be the second time that this final eliminator has not happened because of a pullout. So we're not that stressed at this stage. But yeah, for me it's embarrassing. And how are you expecting to further your career if when there's a whole platform, a whole thing where people are coming out? There's a couple of hundred people here today. Throughout all the 4 press conferences, and he's not even tried to generate any sort of interest. He didn't really do. It's just I can't understand it. I can't. Like, we're professional boxers. You have obligations. When you sign contracts, you have media obligations. I think there should be a penalty in his purse, genuinely, for, missing one of the media obligations. If I'm perfectly honest, I think it doesn't make sense to me. I've never had that thought process. And he's not like a Dillian White that can, just not turn up for the Tyson Fury fight and do all of that. He's Marcel Braithwaite, who no one knows, and he's been a relatively decent opponent a couple of times, and then fought on small hall shows. You know what I mean?
I want to move on from Marcel. I think you made your point really clear, but just on bouncing off from that, obviously I've seen you this fight week. Do you burn energy because there's so much you're doing? Obviously you got this after fight party planned, with your company, one-on-one events, and you're doing so much. You're mingling with fans. You had loads of family and friends turned up yesterday and today, and I see you chatting to everyone, media obligations, and whether you agree with it or not, this is probably going to be the hardest fight of your career. So are you not worried that you're burning energy or anything like that?
No, my weight's fine. I'm not going to have to do a weight cut. I'm probably already on weight now. I woke up 0.6 over. I've had breakfast, I've had lunch, I've been drinking all day. You've seen me. I'm in a very good spot. I enjoy all of this. Like, I see all the faces here. I want to make sure I've gone and at least said hello to them for making the effort of coming down. I've said it, and it might be my my catchphrase at this point. Boxing is no burden to me. Like, genuinely, the fact that there's a fight happening on Friday night, and it might be the most scariest opponent, it might be the hardest fight that I've ever had, that doesn't change me who I am. The bus will leave at 9:40, and I will be on it, come hell or high water. And I've been that way since young. Injuries permitting, and everything I've got in the ring, countless times when I probably shouldn't have. But boxing isn't a burden to me. Once I get in the ring, I enjoy it so much. I don't think people understand, like, the genuine enjoyment and the feeling that I get and the range of emotions that I get from boxing. Just looking at him face to face, speaking to him, hearing the translation, there isn't one bit that starts sapping me. If anything, I'm just glad that people are here, people are caring, and it's a proper fight. Like, as everyone knows, anyone that takes a look, oh wow, okay, do you know what I mean? Just looking at his record before you've even seen him fight, then go watch him fight. He's a very dangerous fighter.
There's every chance, if at 100%, as soon as that bell goes, he's going to come at you like a train.
And it's kind of what everyone else tries doing, but there's only, like, when you control the range as good as I control the range, there's only so much opportunity you even give them to plant their feet and throw a shot. He throws from out of range, he leaves a lot of openings, and he does tire down the stretch. I don't know, it looks like he's a bit tight on the weight. I'm not. Like, I'm genuinely in the best position I've ever been in when it comes to weight, landing in at the right time.
That was going to be my next question, so I'm glad you mentioned it. Obviously, I put a video out of you yesterday, which has done some big numbers, but we'll talk about that in a second. But some of the comments on that video were talking about your face looking drawn and you're looking like you're making the weight bad, but I can assure people he's not.
Oh yeah, I was getting called a crackhead, but a couple of things. I've got high cheekbones by nature, and I think what a lot of it is I'm probably, right now, really, I could make light flyweight. If there was the market there, if there was the fights there, like, for my whole career, I probably would have been there. Let's not forget, the first 14-ish fights, bar one, of my career, I was fighting at super flyweight, because no one would fight me at flyweight, so I was fighting above weight anyway. So people are probably just naturally more used to seeing my face a bit more fleshy, my body a bit more fleshy. But I've done everything right. I've been drinking all the time. I don't need to prove myself. If they want to think that I'm struggling at the weight, they can. Like, I don't. Proving that to people doesn't bother me. I know, and my team know, that I've done everything right, and I'm more fueled up and more fired up and more hydrated probably than anyone on this card. I would genuinely say that. Like, I haven't had to sweatsuit, hot bath, long run, anything, any bit of weight off. So I'm very confident. I don't care what my face starts looking like. I'm a slim person when I'm slim. I'm a flyweight. You know what I mean? What do you expect? Wait until you see my back, my body. I've still got it all in there. I'm eating well. I'm living well, and I cannot wait for the fight.
And then, obviously, talking about that video, obviously you showed support of, you said you've got Muslim friends, and we're talking about the comments by True Geordie, and you defended, the Muslim community with regards to the comments True Geordie made. But there was a few comments saying, you're just saying it for clout. Your response to that?
Well, yeah, I've seen that, and I mentioned that in one of my other interviews. Bear in mind, I was asked these questions. We didn't sit here and work out you know, you're going to ask me this, you're going to ask me that, ask me this, don't ask me that. Like, I don't do that. It's the camera's rolling. You ask me what you want and I reply. My original thing, maybe they could say on the Twitter, but I just seen what I seen and I reacted to it as I react to everything. I do have a lot of Muslim friends, but I have a lot of friends from every sort of creed, race, religion, class, genuinely, and you'll see them at the fight. You've probably seen a few of them around here today. I don't, I don't discriminate. I deal with humans and their beliefs and their political systems and et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't really bother me. If someone's a good person, they're a good person. But when you've got someone who's probably already put a flea in my bonnet with the Tyson Fury interview, which I know a lot of people defended. And don't get me wrong, like I said, you can have your line of question, and he probably did ask some of the questions that want to be, like the people want to hear. However, opening with a KSI question, hammering him like with the same base question over the, you know, the like slight different angle of the same question. It's very unprofessional, and it's not what boxing journalism is, because
I'll give you something on that. Ben Davis, and I spoke to him earlier, he said he ended up being a debate rather than an interview.
Exactly. You ask the question, you move on. You ask a question, you move on. We are fighters. We are not a part of a football team or a basketball team, or we genuinely risk our lives. I don't know how many times I've got to say it. Do I have to start pulling out all the sad stories and then make people think, like, we risk our lives for the entertainment of people. And unfortunately, if you don't like it or not, True Geordie, Tyson Fury's Derek Chisora is as marketable, sells as many tickets and more tickets, probably than most of the other fights that you named, by a long shot, unfortunately. I'm a fan. I'm a boxing fan. There's loads of fights that I want to see that we never get to see. But when you're in a position where you're interviewing the heavyweight champion of the world, ahead of a fight that has been made and agreed and they're promoting, to try and use that and use your YouTube platform, which I think is getting way too many people access to the boxing world. Because the problem is, you have them career boxing journalists, they understand boxers, they understand boxing that little bit better. You have someone that, you know, reacts to the football if it's on, makes a video with his friends in his house, or plays games and which it's not, like, again, there's nothing wrong with any of that. But then when you put that person into the boxing world, you do not realise the type of human you're dealing with. Because, like, I would argue, like, you've been around boxing enough. The boxers that you meet are slightly different to everyone else that you meet. Would you not agree, yes or no?
100%. I don't think I've met a boxer, if you take them out of the boxing game, they would not appear normal in the normal world. And that doesn't mean, I don't mean to say that in an offensive way, but the boxers aren't just normal.
Because guess what? No normal person, no sane person spent...
Dominic Ingle said civilians.
Civilians. I say that as well. I say that when he said that, I thought, oh my God, Dom, I've been terrorising people with that one. And when I say civilians on the internet, what? You're a civilian too. You're not in the army, etc., etc. But what I'm saying is, we are slightly off key. We are slightly different. Everyone's got their own little quirk, because you know what? You lot aren't deluded enough. You lot aren't arrogant enough. You lot aren't whatever you want to get in a ring in front of potentially thousands, millions on TV and risk being made a fool of. Risk being made to look stupid. Risk your family seeing you laid out, snoozing on the canvas. Any of you aren't willing to do that. And even these YouTubers that are getting in a fight like another YouTuber, it's not even the same, because you're picking people that you kind of know you can have a go with, and half of them probably already scripted anyway. Let's be real, some of them exhibitions are clearly. But we are not normal. Boxing takes the normal out of us. From when we're 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old, going to the gym 5 times a week, running 4 or 5 miles as a kid. Like, that's what a lot of these boxers that you see. Like, our life is different. We've been having fights with people bigger than us, people older than us, and all the way up, people better than us, people harder than us, people stronger than us. Our whole life having to do it, walking into a gym, no money involved, just to get better at something. And unless you can get on that wavelength and be doing them sort of things, you will never understand our mindset. So then when you see a camera in front of someone, a boxer that risked their life, has risked and sacrificed, their big parts of their life. Like, every time you see someone have a fight, if they're doing it properly, 8, 10, 12 weeks, they're in monk mode. They're not going out, they're not going clubbing, they're not eating restaurant food, they're not going on holiday like when everyone else can. They're living a certain sort of way, and then all they get is bombarded with the echo chamber of negative. And then when you get someone that's doing it on an interview, turning it into a debate rather than an interview, like you said, it's just crass. And this isn't a sport for it, in my opinion, because like he said, like True Geordie said, thank God this was over Zoom, Because if it was in thing, they could have ended a lot differently to me. At least he acknowledged the fact that if Tyson wanted to, he could probably squeeze his head. Doesn't matter. Oh, he might be relatively big. He wouldn't last 2 seconds in a physical alteration with Tyson. He wouldn't, and normally with most human beings. But that's why you just got to cut us some slack, man. Because it's not just Tyson. It's not just Chisora. Like, there is teams saying, well, we could make this much money, and then the promoter wants this, and they could fill this stadium. We've got this booked. There is so much more to it than Tyson Fury pointing something. Yeah, I want him, and like so much more. So that's what I said about that. I was disgusted at the comments made towards Muslims and telling anyone to prove their faith, they need to blow themselves up to, like, that is wow. In the 21st century, in this day and age, like, and the people saying about, oh, but you've been calling him to get cancelled. No, I don't agree in cancel culture. I think everyone should be able to make mistakes, come back from it. You know, I don't believe in it. However, what I will say is I could name, not going to, 5 people that have been cancelled in this calendar year for jokes or slurs or whatever they've put out there, right? But he shouldn't even, like, if that comment to Muslims and the religion of Islam was treated the same way as in other places in the world, he wouldn't have had a YouTube channel to post his apology on. Like I said, I could name 5 public figures that didn't have the YouTube platform to post their apology on had they wanted to. So why is that? I don't know. Ask True Geordie, because I ain't got a clue.